Full disclosure, I am high. WandaVision episode 4, we interrupt this program. This is the episode that was definitely the one that took the show, like, just to the stratosphere, to the moon, if you will, with all the crazy Dogecoin stuff going on. Episodes 1, 2, and 3. I said it before, even when they first came out, I was like, well, these first two are, like, kind of boring. Maybe they should have done 1, 2, and 3. And then 3 came out, and I was like, they should have done 1, 2, and 3. And then this one comes out, and I'm like, that would have been perfect if they just did 1, 2, and 3. And it was like, boom, we're giving you almost like a short movie, for Marvel movie's sake, an hour and a half would be short. But like, a cool mini event where it's like the first 3 episodes, like I feel like that's what they should have done. I feel like that would have got them more attention. And people would have enjoyed it more too, because there are a lot of people that kind of feel like I do, where it's like, these first 2, like, we know it's against somewhere great, and this episode proves it. We knew it was going there, but it's like, I feel like they could have done something to make more of an event of it, and it's just like, okay, so we gotta wait a week of pace. Like, it's gonna be fine. We'll forget it 3 weeks from now, and whatever crazy stuff happens, it's like, holy crap, it'll be fine. But just to kick it off, it's the first show. It's like, man, I felt like they should have really built it up, because this was like the perfect next step after that first little arc, and then it's like, here's the show. But it was great. I mean, literally, the beginning of the episode, phenomenal. Like, they show the blip, which I always find funny that it's supposed to be our world, and they were just like, blip. It's the blip. So, instead of the snap, they're unblipped, deblipped, I don't know. I guess it makes sense. If from the case of Spider-Man's point, the blip made sense, because when they were coming in, they were kind of fading, but it was kind of like instantaneous, and it was like, oh yeah, the blip. And not everybody, of course, is going to know it's the snap, but still, the blip, we blipped. It's just weird. It's like, it's so, the blip, the world was like, the blip is cool. Like, this is devastating. The blip. So they're unblipping, deblipped. And so we see them like, or at least, in this case, our main character. I always forget I think it's Monica Rambeau, but I feel like that's her mom. So I keep forgetting. But the new Photon, she literally reforms, and of course her mom's dead. They're just like, we're not about to do CG to old this person up. We're not about to do more makeup. That Captain America makeup was like the last of our budget, and now like, we only got this much money. She dead. So her mom's gone. New Photon. We're moving on, but it was really cool. I like the way it was done. Like, her coming, it was very dramatic. Like, people were just forming. It was also the first time I ever thought, what if somebody like formed inside of someone else? Because like, it was kind of slow. Like, you could notice it, but if somebody was like sleep in that chair or something crazy, you, like, people sleeping in beds. It was just like, somebody sleeps somewhere on the planet. Somebody is asleep. I think the statistics are there. Like, somebody was asleep, and somebody just was like, boom, I'm back in bed, and they're just like morphed into each other. So I don't know. That, made me think about some really weird stuff. But either way, that ends up happening. We find out, of course, she goes back to Sword, which they changed to, I think, weapons instead of worlds or something like that. Like, orbital. They changed orbital to offense or something like that. So it's not extraterrestrial. It's all on Earth anyway. It's just for weapons. I think it was the W that changed. It was the weapons. So they have her go in, and it's like, all right, this is what you can do. Like, you're being brought back in, but we have to ground you. Based on your mother's rules. And so that's where we kind of get the little bit of leap. I think it was 2 weeks or 6 weeks later or something after she came back, and then, everything's said and done. So people are starting to get adjusted. So then we have her go back to Sword. And I thought it was cool. I like the way that they handled it, where it's the first step. She meets Agent Wu. I got to wear my Ant-Man t-shirt. That was great. I love, they did the card trick. That was amazing. So they go through the whole issue with the cops. Like, there's, I'm from Eastview, but there is no Westview, even though it's like right behind them. So it's cool to kind of see all of that stuff play out. And then we actually get to see the first 3 episodes within this episode, where we get to see it from the other side. We find out that there are actually a bunch of episodes. Like, what we're seeing is the super condensed version of what the actual characters outside the dome see. So that's kind of cool, because I feel like they can easily play around with like some cool mysteries where they reveal stuff based on the characters outside the dome, where it's like, okay, we figured this and this out, and so we can kind of get some cool. That might be how they do the whole witch thing, where it's like it's revealed kind of through flashbacks by showing us clips from the old episodes. So that's a cool concept if they just end up going with anything like that, where they kind of solve mysteries on the outside, so we get to see old clips. It'll jump back to the 50s, like, this is how we found this out. That would be cool. I would love to see stuff like that happen. It would be cool to have it come back, in later episodes as reveals. That would be nice. But we find out that they've been watching a whole season, so I guess within the context of a full day, that's where that's how they jump through the decades. So that was great. That was a cool reveal. Kat Dennings comes in. I don't remember her character's name. We haven't seen her since Thor 2, and that was cool. They got Johnny Woo, Kat Dennings, and she's a doctor now. She's no longer an intern who also has an intern. So that was nice. She was back and she was funny. It was all right. Let's see where this goes. I think it should be pretty cool. They also can, in a sense, be connects to of course, other Marvel characters. I doubt we'll see Ant-Man or Thor in this, but it's like they can throw some names out. We kind of get some references like this is what's happening kind of in the Marvel universe right now. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But I like what they did. They brought back the side characters. We got all the information from the outside. We got an amazing de-blipping scene. So I enjoyed that. I think this episode was the one that was like, oh, we even got to see the beekeeper. Like, we see the agent go into the tunnel. And I love the fact that because of the era they were in, once his cord snapped, it came out as like an old school jump rope. And I was like, that's super cool. Especially because I actually had something that was similar to that when I was a kid. It was kind of referencing the old school style. So I was like, oh, that reminds me of a jump rope I actually had that was kind of based on the 50s style. But I was like, that's cool. Just cool little things that they do. And it shows that they sent the drone in and it looked like a helicopter. And then it was just changed into a helicopter toy. So I thought that was definitely cool. I like how they handled it. We get to see a great scene. The scene at the end was really kind of shocking. Where Wanda, we see her. Is it Geraldine? I think it's Geraldine, I believe. She blows her through the walls, and so then we actually see what happens when Vision comes in and they kind of end out the episode. And so they're talking, it's like, oh, she fixed the walls and everything, and that's where we have the part which I mentioned before, is like, it seems like she's half in control and then someone else is also in control, or they could be helping her because they get some weird benefit, one of the witch characters. So it's like, there are moments where it's like, she obviously made the choice to be like, I gotta get you out of here because you're sending me back to too much, real stuff. But then there are definitely moments where, in the other episode, she could have been faking, I guess, but I don't think so. Like in the last episode, she was genuinely confused. So there's a part of her that doesn't remember, and then when she snaps back into it, she's of course like, I don't want the real world anymore. I want to stay here. But she's kind of like brainwashing herself a little bit. So that's how it seems. Like it's like there are obviously moments where she's blasting people through walls, and then there's moments, leading up to that where she's like, hold on a second, like something you're mentioning, like my, how he died and stuff like that, the dark parts that kind of bring me out of it. And it seems, they show up the editing. I think that kind of shows that there's someone else there. Like they, whoever is seeing this from the outside is like, oh, we got to cut that. They can't know that she's waking up. So I think that's kind of that was kind of like the giant hit to that. Like she's not just in control. She made it, but someone else is kind of helping her out there. And, she's kind of, it takes a lot of magic to build a city and I guess keep her brainwashed too. So it seems like that's where we are, of course, as of now. We'll see what happens. What I assume this other person that's helping Wanda is somehow, in some way, shape, or form, actually going to be bad. So we'll see how it happens. Like, it could be Dormammu. Wouldn't that be something? That would be crazy. Everybody said Mephisto. What if it was Dormammu? That would make, actually, hold up. Interesting. That random picture on YouTube may have been correct. I just thought of that. Who knows? I'm going to throw out Dormammu. I'm going to go with that YouTube video I didn't watch. Dormammu. It's Dormammu. It's not Mephisto. We'll see what happens. But this episode was definitely the one. I would assume that they can't possibly go back to, like, it's strictly, that era sitcom episode or something like that, because that seems insane. Like, there's no way they could possibly go back to that after this episode, and it's just like, oh, and it's just a full, like, that would be the craziest twist, and they were just like, we're just gonna drop another plain episode, surprise, and then that's just it. And then, like, I don't think that'll happen. That'll be really weird, and people would absolutely despise the show if they did that, where they have such a high peak, and then it's just like, boom, we got you, just to make us wait. So I don't think that'll happen. That'll be weird. But I just don't see that one happening. So I assume we're going to, start getting some more answers. Maybe, with the way they're doing it, it's almost a mystery as well. So more answers, probably some more questions. I'm excited to see. I know there's a big trailer, but I saw that people said, like, oh, there's kind of some spoilers here and there. So I was like, you know what? for what the show is building up as an act, what I feel is a legit mystery, considering what it's going to mean for the rest of the cinematic universe. I'm kind of invested in the mystery of like what is going to happen. I don't want like any clues. I just kind of want to find out. Like I'm actually excited, especially after this point, to be like, what is the future of the MCU? Who's next and what's next? Like, it's super nerdy, but I'm like, man, what are they going to pick out of all the stories out there? Who are they going with next? So I'm excited to see what's going to happen at this point. I was already looking forward to it, and this was the one. This was definitely the episode that was like, finally, it's intense, straight from the beginning. They bring in the cool characters, make the references. It's like, okay, definitely like a huge spike for the episode, or for the series, as far as I'm concerned. But I loved it. I thought it was great. Has me excited for the rest of the series now. So I, of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this one. So please, I almost knocked my phone down. Please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. We'd love to know what you guys thought of them bringing in, like, the sidekick characters. That's just good continuity. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Speculations for sure. Dormammu? Who knows? Man, I keep saying because I'm super high right now. But that's pretty much it for the episode. Oh, I'm glad I looked down, actually. This is for an upcoming unboxing. If you guys want to check that out, it's going to be my, believe it's the final crate for my Ninja Turtles loot crate. So if you want to check that out, I will be doing that next. So it'll also be high. That's what that's for. I just realized, like, oh, that's in the video. Thank goodness I looked down, because that just would have been the pizza box. It's a vinyl record, by the way. TMNT4, Turtles in Time. Favorite Super Nintendo game. But we'd love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. And, of course, thanks for watching. I missed the button.